My girlfriend has been at the bars every evening, mostly with guys her age from her job. That day was last Saturday, when everything changed with my girlfriend, Claire. We'd been together for 5 years. 5 years. That's not a small thing. You build a life, memories, routines, and you start to think that those things, those shared pieces of your life, are permanent. That they're part of you forever. But maybe they're not. Maybe none of it is. It started small. Claire had been distant for a while. I could feel it, but I didn't want to acknowledge it. We do that, don't we? We know something's wrong, but we tell ourselves it's fine. That we're imagining things. But Saturday made it impossible to keep pretending. Claire told me she had doubts. That she needed space. She wanted to move away. To break up. She said things like, "Sometimes I prefer being alone, and maybe it's better if we're not together." At first, I thought it was just a rough patch. 5 years together. You're bound to have those. But this felt different. She wasn't just frustrated or tired. She was checked out, emotionally gone. I asked her if there was someone else. And she denied it. Of course, she always denied it. But the more I thought about it, the more things didn't add up. After that conversation, we took a break. It was only for a day. But it felt like an eternity. My mind wouldn't stop spinning. I kept replaying everything she said, trying to make sense of it. Why was she suddenly pulling away? Why was she spending so much time at the bar after work? Mostly with guys from her job? She had started a new job in September, and since then, it felt like everything had changed. Every evening she was out, drinking with her coworkers, and most of them were guys. I tried not to let it bother me. I told myself it was normal for her to want to bond with her new colleagues, to socialize. But when you've been with someone for 5 years, you notice things. She was answering my messages less frequently. And when she did, it felt off. Her replies were shorter, more distant. And last night, when things got tense between us through texts, she told me she was staying at her friend's house. That hit me hard. It didn't make sense. She was at the bar with her coworkers when she sent that message. How could she have made plans to stay at her friend's place so quickly? It felt too convenient, too planned. My mind went to dark places. Was she lying to me? Was she really with a friend? Or was she with someone else? I tried to shake off the thought. But it lingered. Claire had lied to me before. Not often, but when she did, it was usually about things she knew I'd take badly. And that's what made me doubt her now. The more I thought about it, the more convinced I became that there was someone else. Maybe someone from her job. It had only been a few weeks since she started there. But that's all it takes sometimes. Isn't it? People meet, they connect, and suddenly, 5 years of history don't matter anymore. I couldn't shake the feeling that she was sabotaging our relationship. Maybe it wasn't even intentional. Maybe she didn't set out to hurt me. But things happened. She let herself get seduced. And now she was stuck in a lie she couldn't get out of. That's what I kept telling myself. That's why she was acting so distant. Why she was spending so much time with those guys from work. Why she was avoiding me. I had to know the truth. I couldn't keep living in this limbo, not knowing if our relationship was over because of something she'd done. We were supposed to meet tonight to talk things over, to have this big conversation about where we stood. I wasn't sure if I was ready for it. How do you prepare for something like that? How do you brace yourself to hear that the person you've spent 5 years with has been unfaithful? But I needed to know. I couldn't walk away from this without understanding what had really happened. If there was someone else, I wanted her to admit it. I wanted her to be honest with me. But how do you get someone to confess to something like that? How do you make someone tell you the truth when they know it will destroy you? I thought about what I could say to her, how I could approach the conversation. If I pushed too hard, she might shut down, get defensive. If I was too soft, she might avoid the truth altogether. There had to be a balance. Some way to get her to open up without feeling like she was being attacked. But as much as I wanted the truth, I was also scared of it. What if she did admit to cheating? What if there was someone else? And she had been lying to me for weeks? Could I handle that? Could I walk away from her knowing that she had been with someone else? That our relationship had ended not because of us, but because of someone else? I didn't know. I didn't have any answers. Just a lot of questions and a lot of fear. It's funny, isn't it? You think you know someone, but then you realize you've only been seeing a version of them. The version they want you to see. And when that mask slips, you're left wondering if you ever really knew them at all. I don't know what tonight will bring. Maybe she'll tell me the truth. Maybe she won't. Maybe I'll leave with answers. Or maybe I'll just be left with more questions. But one way or another, I need to find out. I need to know if there's someone else in this. If everything we built together has been undone by a few weeks of temptation. And if there is someone else. If she has been unfaithful. Then what? Do I forgive her? Do I try to move past it? Or do I walk away and never look back? These are the things that keep me up at night. The questions I can't stop asking myself. I guess I'll find out soon enough. Claire was always good at hiding things. I think. Not in a malicious way. At least not at first. But in a way that kept her from having to deal with things she didn't want to. When we first got together, she had this habit of brushing over small conflicts. Pretending like everything was fine even when it wasn't. I didn't think much of it at the time. I figured everyone has their quirks. And maybe that was just hers. But now I'm realizing that maybe it was more than a quirk. Maybe it was a pattern. A way of avoiding the hard conversations. The uncomfortable truths. And now, here we are, on the brink of what might be the hardest conversation we've ever had. And I can't help but wonder if she's already decided not to tell me the truth. I've gone over it so many times in my head. The nights at the bar. The distant replies. The sudden need for space. It all points to something. But I don't have proof. That's the worst part. I don't have anything concrete. Just suspicions and gut feelings. And I don't know if that's enough to confront her with. What if I'm wrong? What if there's no one else? And this is just her way of dealing with stress or whatever else she's going through. But then I think about the lies. The small ones she told in the past to avoid confrontation. And I wonder if this is just another lie. A bigger one this time. I've thought about all the things I could say to her tonight. I've rehearsed them in my head over and over. Trying to find the right words. The ones that will make her feel safe enough to tell me the truth. But I don't know if there are any right words for this. If she's been unfaithful, it's not something she's going to admit easily. Maybe I should just come out and ask her. Straight up. Maybe that's the only way to get her to confess. But there's a part of me that's afraid to do that. Afraid that if I ask, she'll lie again, and I'll never know for sure. It's a strange place to be. This limbo. Not knowing is its own kind of torture. You imagine the worst, and then you convince yourself that maybe it's not that bad. That maybe you're overreacting, but deep down, I think I already know the truth. I just need her to say it. I don't know what I'll do if she admits it. Part of me wants to believe that I could forgive her, that we could work through it. But another part of me, a bigger part, knows that if she's been unfaithful, it will change everything. It will taint every memory we've made together, every moment of happiness, and I don't know if I can live with that. But first, I need to know, one way or another, I need to know if there's someone else. If everything we had together has been destroyed by a single act of betrayal. I guess tonight will bring the answer. And whatever that answer is, it will change everything. It's strange how quiet it gets in the moments before something big happens. Like the calm before a storm. You can feel it building. The tension, the anticipation, but there's a stillness too. A kind of eerie silence that makes you realize just how much is about to change. That's how I feel now. Waiting for Claire to arrive. The apartment feels too quiet, too empty. I've been pacing for the last hour. My mind racing with all the possibilities. All the things that could happen when she walks through the door.
AITA for being in a relationship and wanting to kiss other people? I've been in a relationship with my boyfriend for 2 years now. And things are great. Really, they are. I'm 21, and he's 25, so there's a bit of an age difference. But it's never felt like an issue. He's thoughtful, kind, and we communicate well. Something I know is rare in relationships. Especially ones that have lasted as long as ours. But lately, something strange has been happening inside of me. And I don't really know what to do with it. Our group of friends is pretty open-minded. We've known most of them since high school or early college. And we all hang out a lot, at parties. Small gatherings, that kind of thing. Most of them are single. And they've always been casual about certain things. Especially physical affection. It's not uncommon to see them kiss each other at parties or after a few drinks. It's never a big deal, just a friendly thing. A kind of playful connection. There are no expectations behind it. No strings attached. And I guess I've always thought it was kind of cool how relaxed they are about it. Even though I've never really thought about doing it myself. At least, not until recently. I've started to get these urges. These thoughts that catch me off guard. It's not that I want to be with someone else. Not romantically. I love my boyfriend. I really do. He's everything I've ever wanted. And I don't doubt that for a second. But when I'm at these parties or gatherings, and I see my friends kiss each other, something stirs inside me. It's a curiosity, I guess. Or maybe it's more than that. I find myself wanting to kiss other people too. Not in a deep, meaningful way, but in the same casual way my friends do. Just a kiss. Nothing more. No hidden agenda. No emotional attachment. Just the simple act of connecting with someone else for a brief moment. Then letting it go. I know how this probably sounds. It sounds like I'm questioning my relationship or that I'm unhappy. But that's not it at all. I'm completely in love with my boyfriend. We've built something good together. Something that feels solid and lasting. I don't want anyone else in the sense of wanting to be with them. I'm not looking for a new relationship. And I'm certainly not looking to break up with him. It's just this one thing. The idea of kissing someone else. That's been creeping into my mind. And I don't know what to do with it. Maybe it's because we're still young. Maybe it's just that phase of life where you're trying to figure out who you are and what you want. We've been together since I was 19. And while I wouldn't say I feel tied down, I do sometimes wonder if I've missed out on certain experiences that other people have. I didn't have a lot of relationships before we got together. I had a few casual dates here and there. But nothing serious. He was my first real boyfriend. And from the start, it just worked. We clicked. I didn't have to go through that messy phase of dating around and figuring things out like some of my friends did. In a way, I was lucky. I found someone great early on. And I've never doubted that. But this thing about kissing other people, where did it even come from? I guess it started as a passing thought. Something I barely paid attention to. But the more I've thought about it, the stronger the urge has become. And now it's like this weight on my mind. Something I can't shake. I keep thinking about what it would be like. How it would feel to kiss someone else without it meaning anything. Just a moment. A shared connection. And then back to normal life. And yet, I know how this would sound if I said it out loud. How do you tell your boyfriend that you want to kiss other people and still expect everything to stay the same? Even if it's just a casual thing. Even if it's not about love or attraction. How do you explain that without it sounding like there's something missing in the relationship? Because there's not. I'm happy with him. We have a good thing going. And I don't want to mess that up. But at the same time, I can't keep ignoring this. It feels like something I need to address. But I don't know how. Every time I think about bringing it up, I stop myself. I imagine how the conversation would go. How he would react. Would he understand? Or would he feel hurt? Would he think I'm unhappy? Or worse, that I'm looking for a way out? The last thing I want is to make him feel insecure or question our relationship. And honestly, I don't even know how I would explain it to him. It's not like I want to kiss specific people. It's not about anyone in particular. It's more about the act itself. The idea of it. It's the freedom, I think. The chance to experience something different without it changing anything between us. But I don't know if that's something he would understand. Or if it's something I even have the right to ask for in a monogamous relationship. Is this something I should just keep to myself? Should I let it pass? Hope that it's just a phase? A fleeting thought that will go away on its own? Or is it better to be honest? To bring it up and see where the conversation goes? I don't know. I feel stuck between wanting to be true to myself and not wanting to hurt him. I've tried to push the thought away. But it keeps coming back. When I'm with my friends. It's like the idea of kissing someone else is always there. Lingering in the background. It's not like I'm obsessed with it or anything. It's just this quiet desire that pops up from time to time. Reminding me that there's something I haven't experienced. Something I'm curious about. Maybe that's all this is, curiosity. Maybe it's just a natural part of being in your early 20s. Still figuring things out. I mean, I'm young. I've got my whole life ahead of me. And I guess part of me wonders if I'm supposed to have more experiences before settling down. Not that I'm ready to settle down now. Necessarily. But you know what I mean. People talk about this time in your life as a time for exploration. For trying new things. And I guess I'm just wondering if this is one of those things I'm supposed to explore. But then again, maybe that's selfish. I mean, I'm in a relationship. I made a commitment to him. And I don't want to break that. I don't want to do anything that would make him feel like I'm not happy or that I'm looking for something else. I'm not. I'm happy with him, and I want to be with him. But at the same time, I can't deny that this urge is there. And it's not going away. I've also thought about what it would be like if the roles were reversed. How would I feel if he came to me and said he wanted to kiss other people? I don't know. I'd like to think I'd be understanding. But the truth is, I don't know how I'd react. Maybe I'd feel hurt, like I wasn't enough for him. Maybe I'd start questioning our relationship, wondering if there was something wrong that I hadn't noticed. And if that's how I would feel, isn't it unfair to expect him to react any differently if I were the one to bring it up? But then again, I keep coming back to the idea that this isn't about wanting someone else. It's just about the kiss. It's hard to explain, even to myself. I don't want to cheat. I don't want to be with anyone else. I just want to have that small, casual experience, and then go back to my life with him like nothing's changed. But can things really stay the same after something like that? Would it create doubts, even if it was just a kiss with no meaning behind it? These are the questions that keep running through my mind, over and over again. I don't have the answers. And the more I think about it, the more confused I get. Am I being unreasonable? Is this just a phase one need to get through? Or is this something I need to address? Something that's important enough to risk talking about, even if it could lead to a difficult conversation? I wish I knew what the right thing to do was. I wish I could just shut off these thoughts and focus on the relationship I have. The one that's made me so happy for the past 2 years. But I can't help wondering if this is something that's going to keep coming up. Something that will eventually need to be dealt with. I don't want to be the person who keeps secrets, who hides how they really feel. That's not who I am. And it's not who I want to be in this relationship. But I also don't want to hurt him. I don't want to make him feel like he's not enough or that I'm looking for something outside of what we have. Because I'm not. I don't know. I just want to kiss someone else. Once in a while. Without it meaning anything. Without it changing anything. Is that too much to ask? Maybe it is. Maybe I'm expecting too much from a monogamous relationship. Or maybe there's a way to have this conversation without it leading to disaster. I don't know. All I know is that right now, I feel torn between wanting to be honest and wanting to protect what we have. And I don't know which path to take. I guess, in the end, I'm just afraid of what this urge says about me. Does it mean I'm not as committed as I thought I was? Does it mean there's something missing in our relationship? Something I haven't acknowledged? Or is it just a normal feeling that a lot of people have? And I'm overthinking it? Whatever it is, I need to figure it out. Because I don't want to keep feeling this way. I don't want to feel guilty for something I haven't even done. And I don't want to hurt him by keeping this from him. Even though I know how much it could hurt him if I told him the truth. So, I'm left with this question. AITA for wanting this? Am I wrong for feeling this way? For wanting something that seems so small but feels so complicated? I don't know. I really don't. All I know is that I have to figure it out before it eats away at me any more than it already has. And maybe that starts with being honest, with myself and with him. But the truth is, I'm not sure if I'm ready for that conversation yet. I'm not sure if I'm ready to face what this might mean for us. Because once the words are out there, there's no taking them back. And I don't know if I'm ready for that yet.